We're here with Clifford May of the FDD, and we're going to discuss foreign policy with him. My first question is liberating and protecting foreigners a proper function of the federal government according to the Constitution?
I don't think the Constitution speaks on this. I don't think liberation of foreigners should be our major priority. Our major priority should be the protection of our own citizens. But that doesn't mean that liberation of foreigners isn't sometimes part of that. We liberated France during World War II. I don't think that was unconstitutional. I think that was part of the effort in the war. So what you have to do is examine what is necessary for the government to do its most important job, which is protecting American citizens from its enemies. And the strategy may include the liberation of foreigners, it may not.
But the purpose of World War II was to defend ourselves. We had been attacked at Pearl Harbor, and Hitler declared war on us as well. So the purpose of that war was not to liberate France. It was because we were at war with Germany because they declared war on us, and Japan attacked us by surprise, correct?
Which is exactly what I just said. We were attacked on Pearl Harbor. Germany declared war on us. We have other enemies. Al-Qaeda declared war on us in 1998. In 1979, there was a revolution in Iran. It was made very clear that the purpose of that revolution was the destruction of the United States and of the West. We need to now defend ourselves. Might that defense involve the liberation of the various peoples? Yes, it might, but that's not, as I said, that is not the primary purpose. The primary purpose is national security.
Right. According to the Constitution, there is no power, enumerated power, to attack countries for the sole purpose of liberating and protecting them.
And I don't know anyone who's proposing that. Perhaps you do.
No, I don't. I'm just checking if we had the same understanding regarding the Constitution. So it's not one of the enumerated powers, so we should not go to war simply to liberate or protect the foreigners.
I don't think we should, and I don't think that's actually part of the debate right now.
Okay. In Iraq, did we go to war to protect and liberate them?
I don't think that was the major reason we did go to war in Iraq. You always have a problem with what's called mission creep, where the mission changes from one thing to another. Initially, if you recall, and I don't know if you want to go into long history about this, we fought in the early 1990s in Iraq. There were certain restrictions put on Saddam Hussein. He did not abide by those restrictions. That's why we had no-fly zones. He was shooting at our planes. We had the fear that he was developing weapons of mass destruction and intended to use them. So we went into Iraq. I think our goal was to bring down Saddam Hussein initially. I think one can make the case that the mission crept much more into nation building, as it's called, into trying to create a nation state. And I think one can make the case that that was a mistake, but you have to look at what the other options were at the time.
Had Iraq attacked us, or did they have the means to attack us?
Iraq had threatened us. Saddam Hussein had attacked us. Indeed, he had been shooting at our planes. But I don't know that you or I want to now get into to relitigate the Iraq war, or that maybe you do.
No, I was just trying to understand if that was a war based on the idea that we should liberate and protect foreigners. I think that's what President George Bush said, that it was one of his purposes. But I just wanted, let's get the facts straight. There were no weapons of mass destruction, and so he had no intention of attacking us, right?
I don't know that you can say Saddam Hussein had no intention of attacking us, and he was shooting at our airplanes in the no-fly zone. To say that liberation of the Iraqi people from Saddam Hussein was one of George Bush's objectives may be true, but I don't think it was the primary objective. But I'm not here necessarily to criticize George Bush. That wasn't the purpose of our panel just now. It's a long and difficult discussion.
So, in this case, we went there even though he didn't have the weapons, and he could not attack us because he didn't have the means. So
let me just clarify. When you say he couldn't attack us because he didn't have the means, as I've said 3 times now, he was shooting at our aircraft.
Yeah,
when you shoot at someone's aircraft, I do consider that to be an attack.
They were aircraft that were flying over his country.
So he was justified in attacking us. Your view is that Saddam Hussein was justified in attacking American
The airplanes were flying over his country, and so...
So when we had airplanes flying over Germany and they were attacking those airplanes, the Germans were justified.
Well, they were at war with us. We were right in that war, and they were wrong. But
but Saddam Hussein was right, and we were wrong in the Iraq war. Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is that it's reasonable to understand that he would shoot at our planes if they were flying over his country, just as if he had some planes flying over our country, we would have also shot at him, right?
I'm not so sympathetic to Saddam Hussein as you seem to be.
Well, was Saddam Hussein in power for 24 years and he never attacked the United States? Leaving aside these airplanes that were flying over his country.
Saddam Hussein, among other things, had a plot to kill the first president, George Bush. That plot failed, but it was a plot that he had. It was an attack. He supported many terrorist organizations and had a terrorist training camp south of Baghdad. He was a terrorist sponsor, and regime change in Iraq was a policy of the U.S. government going back to the Clinton administration. Officially.
So the terrorist fundamentalists, religious fundamentalists, Islamic fundamentalists, they supported Saddam Hussein, and they were cooperating. They weren't at odds with each other because he was a secularist.
Both were the case, actually. What you saw, Al-Qaeda said that in the war against the West, the socialists, which is how he referred to Saddam Hussein, are our allies. There are many divisions among the various radical Islamist groups. Saddam Hussein was more secular and more socialist, more Ba'athist, which is sort of a combination of communism and fascism, but he talked about jihad as well.
But he killed those Islamic fundamentalists because they wanted to establish a fundamentalist society in Iraq, and he was against that.
Which ones did he kill? Zarqawi.
All kinds of terrorists.
Right.
Zarqawi
was in Iraq even during Saddam Hussein, and there was a group, an Ansar Islam group, up in the northeast of the country that he evidently was quite willing to tolerate. Look, if you want to defend Saddam Hussein, please go ahead. This is not really the major foreign policy, national security dilemma we face right now. I'm only going to have another couple minutes.
My point was that if there was one tyrant that we were sure was not going to attack us full throttle, in other words, an outright war, not just shoot the airplanes that are flying over his country, it was Saddam Hussein, because he had been in power for 24 years and never attacked mainland U.S. or made any movements to attack the United States. So I thought it was pretty clear that he didn't have the intention or the nerve to attack us.
If you want to say that our priority at that point should not have been Saddam Hussein, but should have been perhaps Iran, I think you certainly have a case.